Fawzan, in his commentary, he goes on to speak about the atheists, and he says, فَالْمَلَاهِدَ يُنْكِرُونَ الرَّبَّ فِي ظَاهِرِهِمْ وَيَعْتَرِفُونَ بِهِ فِي بَاطِنِهِمْ. That these atheists, outwardly they deny a Lord, outwardly, but inwardly they are convinced. Inwardly they are convinced. And so this was true of Fir'aun. Fir'aun inwardly, he was convinced of the signs that Musa alayhi salam brought him. He knew inwardly that the Lord of Musa is true and is real, but he was too arrogant and proud to single him out in worship. In the same way, the modern day atheists, they are the same. Inwardly they know, when they study this creation and they look at its intricacies and its end goals and its wisdoms and its interconnected nature and how all things are connected together, and when they see that, when they observe that, for example, mankind has to spend or has to utilize tremendous amounts of knowledge, understanding and expertise, for example, to create, for example, a drone or a prosthetic limb, for example, or, in which they have to mimic the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. And they have all of this biomimicry where they are using what's in the creation to mimic and to try to create something similar, and they know themselves that we are using skill, intelligence, knowledge, understanding, tremendous amounts of expertise and decades of experience and whatever, and how all of it has to be integrated together in order to, create or generate one simple little thing, whether it's a chip to mimic a brain, or whether it's a prosthetic limb, or whether it's whatever it might be. Right. Inwardly, they know inside their souls, it's like an unstated acknowledgement that this creation, there must be something behind this creation. But then there's just outwardly, it's arrogance, you see. And then they play all these games and these tricks in terms of wording to deceive you into thinking that they are somehow, that they only follow science and the scientific method. So one of the tricks they play, for example, is they say that we don't have beliefs. We don't have any beliefs. We only believe in science. We don't have any beliefs. And, as atheists, the definition of atheism is the absence of belief in a God. Is the absence of belief in a God. Right. So what they are doing is they're just playing around with words. What they should really be saying is, we believe in the absence of a God. They change it to say, we have an absence of a belief in God. Right. Because they're trying to not admit that that actually is a belief for them. Now, for you to say, I do not believe there's a creator, there is no creator. For you to say, there is no creator, well, you'd have to have knowledge. You'd have to bring evidence for that, even if it's a negation, right? If you're outright blanket saying there is no creator, you are now making a positive statement. You are making like a positive claim, which is the negation of the existence of something, right? So now you are bound to give us the proof. And the only proof you accept, which you believe in, is the scientific method, do an experiment, whatever. But you can't do an experiment with a creator. Like, you can't, your scientific method doesn't apply to a creator. It's from the unseen. It's outside the realm of what you can, because the scientific method, you have to have and manipulate the things that you are speaking about. Well, you can't do a scientific method with a creator who is from the unseen. So your denial cannot be based upon science in principle. So therefore you are holding a belief. Right? You're holding it's a belief that you are holding. But to disguise it and to hide that fact, they play around with words. They chop the words around. So now they will say, oh no, we just have atheism is defined as the absence of a belief in a creator. Whereas what it should be is, our assertion that there is no creator is a pure belief, is a pure conjecture for which we have absolutely no evidence. right? We are just believers like you guys, right? Now, most of them are arrogant. They will not admit this, but there are some of them who are readily and openly admitting this. These are the honest people amongst them, and they, some of them, they say that, atheism is a preferred philosophical belief. We have no evidence. We just don't feel comfortable with the idea that there should be a creator and a God. It makes us feel uneasy. We prefer a life where there is no creator and no God. It's purely philosophical. Now, some of them are open and they openly admit this, but most of them are arrogant liars and deceivers who are not willing to admit that what they hold is actually a belief. All right? So, as the Shaykh says, the atheists, they deny the Lord outwardly, but inwardly they acknowledge, inwardly they know, in their souls they know there's something. And the Shaykh goes on to say that every intelligent person knows that this creation did not bring itself into existence, did not create itself, rather it by necessity must have a creator. He mentions the verses in the Quran that you are familiar with, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Were they created by nothing? Were they created by nothing? Or are they themselves the creators? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Rather, they have no certainty, right? So all of the possibilities are mentioned here. Either this creation brought itself into existence, that is an impossibility, that's out. Or they created themselves, which obviously is an impossibility. You can't create yourself. Or they created the heavens and the earth. That's also an impossibility as well. So there's only left the final possibility, which is that it must have a creator by necessity. So essentially today what we did in today's lesson was continuing the line of thought that Ibn Taymiyyah is pursuing through the book, is that we, in contrast to al-istislam, which is inward submission and acknowledgement to Allah Azza wa Jal, which is the foundation and the essence of Islam, contradicting that is arrogance. And the two cannot coexist. And so for that reason, the discussion of arrogance, has its place in this treatise, and that's why, Ibn Taymiyyah has brought it at this point. And this continues the arrogance of Fir'aun, the arrogance of the Yahud, the arrogance of the Ahlul Kitab. This is what to follow, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll leave that for the forthcoming lesson. So with that, we'll conclude our lesson for the day, inshallah. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.